All right, we have a lot to cover today, but let's start with the raid on your home by California Attorney General Kamala Harris. What happened?
Sure. So Kamala Harris, who has been a sponsored political supporter of Planned Parenthood for many years now, they've donated over $21,000 to her election campaigns. And it was her Department of Justice in the state of California that has chosen not to investigate Planned Parenthood in California or to investigate their business partners in baby parts trafficking like STEM Express or Novagenics, even though California is really the hub for baby body parts trafficking in our country. The Attorney General's office has chosen not to even open up an investigation into them and instead decided to come and raid my home, take all of the laptops I had, all of the external hard drives that had all of the undercover footage gathered during the course of our project.
Wait, so she took everything, even the stuff that you weren't legally allowed to release publicly?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, and you're right. There's a large body of video footage that was filmed at the annual meetings of the National Abortion Federation, which is basically the major trade group of abortion providers in North America. That's currently under court order right now. The Attorney General's office even seized that. So there's a lot of attorney-client protected information as well that they're seizing. So it's quite a big problem.
All right, so she was exercising this warrant. That's fine, but is it standard operating procedure to raid the home of someone who you are exacting a search warrant on?
No, I mean, really what it is all of the information, if they were truly doing a legitimate investigation, if they really wanted to get all of the video files or even other files, they could have just issued a simple subpoena for them. It's completely unheard of that in a situation like this, and mind you, we don't know yet if there will actually be charges that come down. If they do, I suspect they'll be very similar to the really sham, politically motivated charges in Texas, where the charges don't fit either the law as it's written or the facts of what actually happened. But it's completely beyond the pale to have these KGB style tactics of political intimidation and coming down against citizen journalists. If they wanted the information, they could have done what every other agency has done, which is just issue a subpoena or even make a document request, and they didn't do that. So that smells like it's politically motivated and like it's intimidation tactics.
Right, and you mentioned a conflict of interest. Let's just bullet this out for viewers who might not know about Attorney General Harris and her ties to Planned Parenthood. David, explain that to us.
Sure. So, like I said, like many politicians, unfortunately these days, Kamala Harris has been sponsored by Planned Parenthood. Tens of thousands of dollars, both from Planned Parenthood and also their political allies that have flowed into her political campaigns over the years. She's also currently has a petition on her website for her Senate campaign to support Planned Parenthood, and she's using that for fundraising purposes. So there's a clear conflict of interest in that the entity that ought to be under very, very strict scrutiny in the state of California right now, Planned Parenthood, instead doesn't even get an investigation, but then the people who are calling them out, the citizen journalists who are calling them out like myself, are the ones who are having our homes raided.
Right, it's like the criminal being both the judge and the jury. David, you mentioned that you were indicted in the state of Texas. I want to ask you about that. First of all, what were you indicted for?
There are two charges in the state of Texas that come from sort of a runaway grand jury operation. The first has to do with allegedly using a fake ID in order to, quote, harm or defraud someone, which is really absurd on its face. And then the second charge is the one that really shows how ridiculously politically motivated the charges are. The second one is for the attempt to purchase human body parts, which obviously, as investigative journalists, we were never intending to actually buy human body parts. But if it was somehow criminal for us to pretend to want to buy baby body parts, then certainly it must have been even more criminal for STEM Express, companies like STEM Express, to actually be buying them and selling them across state lines, and for Planned Parenthood in Texas to actually have a track record of selling body parts for the past 10 years.
Right, because they had an actual intention to do so whereas you were just you were just posing at that to elicit that.
In other places, they've actually received money for their baby parts before.
All right.